And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hey everybody, this is Toof, the country bumpkin at the Brothers Commonplace. Thanks for checking out our podcast. Just a quick disclaimer before we start though, we are a comedy podcast that covers many serious events. We aren't here to purposely offend or disrespect any of the people in our topics. We really aren't. But at the same time, we are trying to make each other laugh and crack jokes and just be goofs in a way, you know? Thanks for listening. Be good. Stay safe. And try to laugh at the dark stuff.
All right, fellas, like we practiced.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Come on down. Come on down. Hanging with the brothers tonight, yeah. Come on down to the Brothers Commonplace tonight.
Alrighty, welcome everyone to the Brothers Commonplace, a comedy podcast where we cover monsters, murders, mysteries, and more. And today we're going to be talking about something pretty cool. But before we jump into the topic, let me introduce you to just the four of us building castles in the sky.
Ooh.
Just the four of us, Tim, Spence, Andrew, and I. So take it away, Primo.
This is Tim, and this is normally where I like to give you guys a little nickname. But for this week, I'm actually going to give you the story behind the nickname before I tell you the nickname.
All right.
Most of our listeners probably know that all of us at one point have worked at the same restaurant. There's this one Saturday morning. And,
it's Skyline Chili, by the way.
Yeah, it is. There was a Saturday morning, and we were just fucking slammed. Like, the biggest rush we've ever had. I'm talking, like, Black Friday lines. And I got there, and I just looked at all the other people there. I'm like, you fucking scrubs, get the hell out of here. I handled the whole restaurant myself. I did grill line. I did KP. I did dish tank. I told everybody to get the fuck out of there. They're all just watching me destroy this. They're chanting my name. And then they start chanting another name. And I realized from now on, I'm going to be known as this. So from that day on, I've now been the Tank Master.
So quick background.
Yeah, I was saying, you had to tell the story.
We worked with a girl, and she was on Dish Tank, and there was like absolutely no one in the restaurant. She's like, I am the Tank Master. We got a little bit busy, and then she quit.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer. You may have seen me in Key and Peele's movie Keanu, where I was the guy who tried to take Key's wife.
I don't remember what he looked like. I'm trying to remember.
This is Andrew, and hi, my name is Hot. My name is Chicka Jim Scary.
Oh, yes.
Alrighty, before I go ahead and introduce myself, let me go ahead and turn off. It's kind of rude of me. I had something playing in the background. I was watching a Harry Potter porno parody musical special. So let me go ahead and turn that off real quick. You might accidentally hear a little piece of it before I get to it, but I'll be right back. Reach out and suck, Snake! All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to turn it off.
Oh, shit.
I wondered what that was.
But y'all know me. It's the kid K-Dog, and a.k.a. your girl for all seasons.
Ooh.
Andrew.
All the year through.
Yes, sir.
I like these.
And speaking of seasons, it is pretty cold out. We're in January.
Yeah.
And Andrew, did you know that when it snows, my eyes become enlarged and the light that you shine can be seen? Now, real quick, though, guys, before we continue, my dad, he is sleeping in the other room. So let's go ahead and simmer it down for a little bit. 2, 3, 4. Baby, I can compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the tube on the grave. Alrighty, that was very excellent, my boys. Now, before we jump into today's topic, which is Polybius, or Polybius, Polybius, beat us. Pauly Shore.
Polyphemus.
Pauly Shore beat us. Pauly Shore has a podcast and he's beating us. So we're not going to allow that to happen,
Yeah,
are
fuck
we?
that, dude.
Hell no, we're not.
Yeah.
So, alrighty, to get our minds out of the Pauly Shore gutter,
Oh, man.
let's go ahead and talk about what our favorite arcade memories are.
You guys mind if I go first?
Yeah, go first, Primo.
If any of you guys know me, I just really into fucking Fight Night, man. Just really into Fight Night. Any of them, they're just good games, you know. And in the arcade near my house, they just got Fight Night Round 3. I was like, fuck yeah, man. So I go in there and I'm just fucking schooling people, dude. Like, I'd pick Mike Tyson. I'm knocking people out, you know. First round, you're fucking gone. And so this kid comes in, man. He's a good-looking little fella, you know. He's a younger kid, but he comes up to me. He's like, will you play me? I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, dude, go ahead and create a guy. Put his stuff up to 99. Yeah. And I'm going to be Mike Tyson, dude. I guarantee I beat you. So he puts his stuff up to 99. I'm Mike Tyson. I fucking KO him first round, you know, first minute. Kid tells me afterwards, he's like, you know what? He's like, let's play again. He's like, you know, I'm gonna be one of the smaller weights, you know, and you pick Mike Tyson. He's like, if you beat me again, you know, I'll give you all the money I got. So I'm like, all right, let's do it, you know. And so, man, I'm fucking throwing all these punches, all these shots. I'm throwing out this kid. He just keeps dodging them. He's dodging all my shots. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And finally, he just beats me, you know. He took all my money and stuff, and I was just like, I tell the kid, I'm like, dude, what'd you do, man? Like, how'd you dodge all my shots? He's like, man, that's just who I am. I'm like, dude, you're gonna grow up to be somebody like special. And that kid was JFK.
What the?
Dodging shots.
Oh, dude.
Made no sense.
He wasn't even around.
Dodging all my shots.
I actually love this story because it just is so magnificently historically correct.
Oh, yeah, look that shit up.
I thought it was going to be a Mel Hall angle, dude.
Oh,
the
my
way
God.
you built it, you're like, that's just me being me. And
Yeah.
because Mel Hall thought he could beat
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nope. It was JFK. This is all true. It all happened.
It's just like that Stephen King book about it.
All right, who wants to go next?
I can go next. Mine's short.
All right, Spence, let's hear it, brother.
Well, you all know I really like the game, what's it called? Tapper, the bartender game,
Okay. Yeah.
where you got to serve people those beers, those fucking douchebag customers.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Well, you know, like you got the guy holding up his cane like, I need my beer now.
That is true.
Yeah.
That
it's
guy
like,
shouldn't be drinking.
Exactly. Most of the situations in that game, people shouldn't be drinking. Anyway, I'm playing that game one day, and people start watching because of how good I was. Long story short, they offer me a job right there at the bar because it was at an arcade bar.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, you've got the skills we need.
It's sort of like how we're going to be talking about with Polybius or The Last Star. Is it The Last Starfighter?
Oh, that's a good movie.
Where it's like they made that fucking arcade game to like find someone
Oh,
like military-wise.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
with
They just
Tapper
did it for the
instead.
bartender.
Exactly. And my first customer that night was Bill Cosby.
Oh. You introduced him to it, to the Spanish Fly.
Yes.
All right, so my favorite arcade memory, actually, Tim's going to remember this, so he can verify it.
Yep.
Which I was a little upset, Tim, that this wasn't also your favorite arcade memory, but I understand.
I mean, I
understand
met
why.
JFK as a kid, so.
So, being in Ohio, we went to Aladdin's Castle, obviously. We went there, me and
Place
Tim.
is sweet.
We're just hanging out at the arcade, and it's not how it is now. It's not like, oh, arcade, you fucking nerd. Back then, the arcade is where we went to just be badass, to kick ass, get chicks. We smoked a lot of cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
We did a lot of shit there. And so me and Tim, we're just playing this X-Men game. We're kicking ass at it. And these two girls, they come up behind us, and they reach between our legs. They're like, oh, yeah, you guys are doing real fucking good. And they just start fingering our wangs. And we're like, whatever. You know, we're just going to keep playing, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, does that feel good? We're like, yeah, it feels good. But you know what feels great? Beating this game. So we're like they're trying to blow us, and we're trying to blow them off. You know, we're trying to get
Exactly,
away.
yeah.
So me and Tim, we go over to Cruisin' World. And me and Tim, we hop in the car to play some Cruisin' World. We tag team this car. That's just how we like to do it. I sit down first, and I'm steering in the gas pedal, and Tim is just the best fucking shifter you've ever met. So we're just fucking kicking ass and cruising world, and we go so fast that the game can't process it. Like it wasn't made to go this fast. And the car that we're in flies off the arcade machine, and we're just driving around in the air, flying around this arcade, coins flying in and out of everyone's asses. We're bumping into shit like we're Ron and Harry, and we're fucking late for school. And hot chicks, hot dudes, everyone is reaching in this car, just fingering our wangs while we're flying around. And then I swear to God, this next part really happened. Michelle Pfeiffer walks in, and she says, "I'm here to have sex with 2 cute boys and finger some wangs." And I'm all out of wangs. And then me and Tim, we stare at her, and I say, "Jackpot." And then Tim, the first time this has ever been mustered up, never been spoken before ever, he looks at her and says, "I'm your Huckleberry." And then we both yelled #Wildman.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And that is my
Yes.
favorite
Holy
arcade
shit,
memory.
dude.
Wow, man. Fuck yeah, dude.
That's good.
Amazing.
That's
So-
good.
Amazing.
Our goal is to bring #Wildman to this podcast. Because my buddy Mark in Florida, I know you're listening, you fucking juggalo.
Yeah.
He told me the story. His friend got randomly added by this guy on Facebook, and he always like makes these posts and ends them with #Wildman.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And like the best one is, he's like, "Being a gentleman don't make you a pussy. It gets you the pussy. #Wildman."
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. #Wildman.
Oh my god. That should be our slogan.
There's like this, I don't know, it's like a new edition. Like me and Kevin, Timmy were going to this arcade, and Spencer showed up too.
Oh,
So we were all
nice.
just fucking
Nice.
chilling in it. They had this new game there. It was just called DP. So we weren't really sure. We weren't really sure really what was going on. There was no screen. There was just a little hole. So we're like, all right, how the fuck do you play this? There's like no instructions or anything. So we're just like trying to we put our fingers and shit. We're like, how the fuck do you play this goddamn game? And eventually this dude comes over. He's like, man, that's just a glory hole. I don't know what you guys are doing.
And it was in Andrew's garage. I was like, He
Yeah.
just fucking wrote arcade on the wall.
And somehow Andrew also was the guy that came over and told us that it was a glory hole too.
That is true. I'm the repairman.
Yeah,
man.
so that's right.
So alrighty, on to today's topic. Unless you guys got something else you want to add in real quick.
It was interesting the screams that happened when we tried using the toilet plunger on the hole.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and jump into our topic of Polybius, which is a mysterious arcade game back in 1981. The location, Portland, Oregon. A game so crazy, so addictive and powerful, perhaps crafted by wizards. We can't rule that out, Andrew.
We can't.
No, we cannot.
Alrighty. It was said that kids playing it would have nightmares, go insane, get nauseated, see hallucinations, black out, watch Joe Dirt 2 on Crackle.com.
Oh man.
And not quite as bad as that, but even commit suicide.
Dude, I actually heard I also heard when they were playing this game that they actually ate a well-balanced breakfast for a week.
Oh, nice.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, that's-
This game must be destroyed. Oh, no.
Well, I mean, I did hear that the people that watched Joe Dirt 2 on Crackle were also the same people that committed suicide.
Well, I'm still here, baby.
Yeah, but you didn't play the game.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I kept failing. So, trying. I kept getting out
Yeah,
of the way.
dude, you gave it so many tries.
Like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, I tried for like a minute on Joe Dirt 2 and I was done.
Some right away rule this game as fictitious, saying it's not real, it's a hoax. And to that I say, you fucking dogs,
Oh,
you liars.
You bitches.
Nah, I'm not actually quite sure, but we're here to talk about it and discuss it and talk about its origins, and maybe we'll find out if it's real or not, Andrew.
Yeah.
It's really weird because I have a couple of these arcade games in my basement or / my garage, which is the arcade. But I just made a cardboard box and put Polybius on it. So.
Is there a hole in the box?
What do you gain by it? Like, what's the end goal of that?
I can go online and say, yeah, I have a couple of these, so they really do exist.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
that's all I needed.
we'll just keep going. So I first heard about Polybius when I read about it in a GamePro magazine, and I remember thinking that this was like one of the most crazy and exciting things I ever read because it's video games and an awesome mystery. So have you guys heard of Polybius, or when did you first hear about it?
You told me like a week ago, but
So Polybius, the name, was taken from the Greek historian by the name of Polybius. He was said to have been known for his assertion that, quote, historians should never report what they cannot verify.
Well, then I don't know why he reported that I played Bejeweled for 3 hours a day, because he's never seen that.
He's a fucking liar,
but,
that's why.
But
Spence.
have I, Spence?
Oh, Polybius.
You caught me.
Oh, the long con.
So before we get into theories and pulling apart the legend of Polybius, let's talk about like the main body of it all, and then we can discuss it and theorize and talk about all that fun stuff.
Absolutely.
So the story goes that in 1981, in a few suburbs of Portland, Oregon, some arcade spots had gotten a new game. It came in an all-black cabinet with one word on it, Polybius. And there are a few arcades that they said this supposedly went to, and they actually were real arcades. One of them is like a restaurant now.
Oh, nice.
So there's like a little bit of truth and fact, but it's just, who knows? I don't know. It's kind of a weird spot to pick. Portland, Oregon in the 80s, but like the suburbs of it, so it's kind of interesting.
I heard like a lot of places were supposed to get it, and like some kid accidentally, he got what was supposed to be this. It was in like a black cupboard, but then there was just an Indian in there. All right, that's fucking dumb. I'm sorry.
The cupboard wasn't even black.
I'm sorry. That's dumb
That was
as
good
shit.
though. I liked it.
I just
Hey,
love that
hey,
movie.
did the arcade cabinet Polybius come in? No, we just got this fucking
Just
cupboard with this little Indian in it.
Indian in the cupboard.
I love that movie.
It was a great movie.
Omri.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
What? I've never watched it.
Oh, that's great. Definitely check that out. It's a good movie.
So the startup screen was said to have the company name. It's German, Sinneslotion. I have no idea how to
Nice.
pronounce it,
Fun sounding name.
but it is German for sense deletion.
Ooh.
So at least that's what the Google Translate says it is.
Yeah.
Which sense deletion is kind of a scary name.
Matt Hardy would like it.
So delete. We're all doing the
Delete.
thing. That could mean, just sense deletion, delete your senses. That adds to the whole mystery
yeah.
of it all too, you know?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of like the meanings are pretty cool. Like add into the whole thing.
Sinuslotion?
Possibly.
Sinuslotion, something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, when you have a cold, your sinuses are sloshing.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck yeah, they are.
Got one of those going on right now.
That was dumb. Cut that out.
No.
No, dude, I fucking said Indian in the cupboard, Spence.
it. So the gameplay was said to have been a mix between a puzzle and a shoot-'em-up game, and it's often compared to the game Tempest.
Oh, okay.
And lots of places did receive arcade cabinets in like beta form to test out and see how well people like them. So it's not unheard of at all to say that Portland maybe was the only place I've gotten a few of these, because they do kind of be like, all right, here's a game we're working on. Let's put it out there, see what people like about it. And if they like it, we'll keep working on it. If not, we'll change it up.
A lot of when I was reading about it, which I just read like a couple articles on it, but every time I would think of Jumanji. So it's in like this like cupboard or or whatever it was in, and you just hear like the like rumble. They open it up and they're super excited. Like, what is this?
See, like, we were pretty poor growing up, so I never got to really play any of the arcade games, except I got to play that free one where you just put your arm in there and it just tells you your blood pressure. It's not even funny. That wasn't even funny at all.
You just play it at CVS all the time. Or back then it would have been Revco probably.
So the game was supposedly super popular, and it had people forming lines to go play it and kids putting quarter after quarter into the machines. But soon after kids started playing, weird things began happening to them. Some kids were beginning to get nauseated, have bad headaches, migraines. Players are reporting that they were having nightmares and blackouts. And one report said that a person was hearing a woman cry, and out of the corner of their eyes, they kept seeing misshaped and grotesque faces out of the corner of their
Fucking
eyes.
creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
So they were either playing this game or drinking Slurm.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. Either that or they all right, this is dumb, but either that or they went in that house from The Grudge.
Son of a
Or they
bitch.
watched the fucking Grudge.
And supposedly kids had committed suicide because of the game also. And another weird thing is supposedly some people were pushed away from video games altogether after playing this and wanted nothing to do with it. So like after playing this game, some people became like anti-video game. So there's like a ton of weird stories circling around it. And honestly, I could see some of this being true as far as like these conditions and stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as to say the suicide or anything extreme like that.
Yeah.
But headaches, nightmares,
Oh, yeah, totally.
seizures. I mean, you see
Yeah.
warnings for stuff like that in video games all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like every video game you start, like talks about having like a history of seizures and all that.
Yeah.
Nothing's scary in ever fucking video games.
No.
Never. Andrew apparently is he's never played Conker's Bad Fur Day. Then
Yeah, dude.
it's just funny as shit. I love that game.
I remember when that Abra broke out of that Pokeball, dude. You never picked up Pokemon Red again.
No, I was fucking pissed. I was like, fuck y'all, I'm still paid.
I wonder if at the game testing places, like they test every game for seizures, right? So they have some seizure-prone people that
They could.
they wheel out every time they're
Oh my
making
god, dude!
making a new game.
Like, it's like
Like maybe this will be the one.
Oh my
Maybe this will be the one where they don't seizure.
Please. We're running out of test subjects. We're all
Nope.
fucking dying.
Nope, they seizured again. Put the label on.
And according to one source, which we'll talk about later, the main reason that the arcade game finally disappeared was because a kid had a seizure while playing in the arcade and then died. Wow. And according to onlookers, players in the arcade, and even possibly some of the arcade owners, there were reports that Men in Black, whether it was the notorious government agents or just developers of the Polybius game, who knows, but supposedly each day the Men in Black would come to the arcade, open up the cabinets, and they would retrieve something from them. Whether it was records, footage, data, who knows. It was just said they would retrieve data from it. But it was said they never really cared to take the money or coins or anything like that. Or they would just check the data and then leave. So
Well,
who knows what was going on.
Ed Harris has a lot of money. He doesn't really need to.
Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah. Figured you guys would like that one.
I know, dude. He's like, this fucking inside of this cabinet is pretty fucking confusing. You could say it's kind of like a maze. they're like, Ed, get the fuck out of here, dude. No, it's not.
The maze wasn't meant for you.
But I really don't know what kind of information you'd be pulling out of an arcade cabinet, really.
Nowadays, you can pull some shit, but not back then. You wouldn't think.
And all this with the Men in Black and just the mystery surrounding this game added to the urban legend and the weirdness of everything, and adding in kind of like an MK Ultra mind control theory to it also, with all the cases of all this stuff happening to the kids and then possibly government agents that were keeping an eye on it also. And some witnesses remember the game feeling more alive than a normal arcade game, and there were some reports that when the Polybius arcade cabinet was unplugged and carted out for good, it was actually still turned on, like the screen was still on and everything.
Ooh, wow, that's creepy.
So, whether that's true or not, that's pretty cool. That's kind of interesting.
I saw one article that like after they played the game, the kids just went outside and gave each other fatalities. Finish it.
I heard that like the cabinet wasn't actually on still, but the guys carting it out were the two guys from Weekend at Bernie's, and they were just fucking really good at what they do. It doesn't even make any sense.
I don't know. I really like the I like live my life by that now, that when you unplug it, it's still on. So every time I get out of the shower, I'm always still turned on a little bit.
Dude, one of my favorite stories of you though is when you told me that you did the Terminator, dude.
Yeah, so Andrew, will you tell them real quick what you do when you get out of the shower?
All right. Back in the day when I was like probably 12 or 13, I really liked the Terminator movies. And in the Terminator movies, you like when he travels through time, he's always like hunched down and like there's all the steam and shit or whatever the hell it is going around. Usually it's Arnold, but when I would take the hottest fucking shower I possibly could, and I would step out super slow and just kneel down and like get up really slow and look around with all that steam coming off. We pretended I was Arnold.
And he's alone for all of this.
There's nobody there but me.
See, me and my dad, we did something like that. We'd reenact like a movie scene, but we would just reenact the warm liquid goo face from Austin Powers.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
And after only being in arcades for about a week or possibly up to a month, they were gone from the earth forever. And I'm not sure how many cabinets there actually were said to be, but I think anywhere from 1 to 7 or 0. Who knows? I know in one report we'll talk about, he said the guy says there was 7.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all there was about Polybius at the time, and it wasn't until the early 2000s that it started to become a popular mystery and urban legend with the internet. On the arcade website...
Arcane Enchanter?
The Arcane Enchanter came up to me and Spence and told us... No. On the arcade website coinop.org, which is a comprehensive database of all coin-operated arcade games, Polybius was listed in the database with a submission date of August 3rd, 1998.
Oh, wow.
And that is like the first time anything has been mentioned since like the 80s about it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it wasn't even mentioned in the 80s, but this is like the first mention of it in a way.
Yeah.
But it was in the 2000s where this was actually brought up.
Yeah.
But however, many have pointed out and figured out that 1998, August 3rd, is just a default date. So it could have been added any time after that. And like the real date that it was actually shown was in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
So when it showed up on there.
Mm.
And the listing didn't really say too much about the game. It just described it as an abstract puzzle/space shooter. And it was saying it was only released around the area of Portland. But the article did list details about the Men in Black as well as mysterious reports of children that had suffered from playing the game. But one thing this listing had that was completely new, it had a screenshot of the Polybius home screen with the date 1981 and the company name of Sinneslaschen or whatever the fuck it's called, that German thing. So this is the first time it's being brought up like on the internet, like where there's actually those details and then actually a screenshot.
Which that's pretty cool. But when you're like talking about like people like suffering when they're playing that game and stuff, that easily could have just been the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, dude.
Just getting pissed
it
off
fucking
underwater.
easily could. That was one of the fucking most bullshit games ever. That or was it Fester's Quest?
Oh, Fester's Quest, dude. Every time I play it, I get a little bit further, though.
Yeah,
man.
watching you play that was a shit, dude.
This is fucking bullshit!
Yeah, that or me kicking your ass at that robot baseball game.
Oh, whatever, dude. Fuck off.
Flip it over you.
Fuck off, you cheater. So, besides that being listed on that website on CoinOp, there wasn't any, like, a whole lot more about it. And then sometime prior...
Richard Pryor.
And sometime prior to September 2003, the owner of the CoinOp website, he reached out to GamePro magazine about Polybius. And then in September of 2003, Polybius, for the first time, was mentioned in printing.
Oh, wow.
And the section which it was featured in was titled Secrets and Lies. And the story of Polybius was now being read and spread through like a whole mass market audience. Because back then, video game magazines, I mean, I feel like everyone in school read GamePro, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah. And the best thing is it's still out now, and there's no point for it anymore. You just read that shit online.
And the article states that the game's existence was inconclusive, so it didn't say whether or not it was real. Like it said, we didn't really have no idea. And that only added to the urban legend popularity, and it sparked like crazy curiosity. And that was when I first heard of it, because I had the subscription, so I would have first heard of it in 2003.
Yeah.
And I remember just telling everyone, as soon as I read it, I was like, dude, you guys got to read about this game.
Yeah.
Kids are fucking dying playing it and shit, and so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I was too busy reading Mad Magazine, so, you know.
Yeah. I've never actually met a kid who read Mad Magazine.
Oh, dude, those are fun.
Are they cool?
Yeah, a little bit.
I never read them.
Oh, yeah. I really legit used to buy those as a kid.
So is this where they maybe based that Stay Alive video game movie off of? Maybe not so much like the, killing people like that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, that's a good fucking movie.
They could have, yeah, absolutely. We mentioned in the Bloody Mary podcast that it was based off of one of the, I think her name was like Elizabeth Bathory in the movie, but it was like that Blood Countess or whatever.
I was more talking about that game going.
No, yeah, they easily could have, yeah.
And of course, this is where people started to come out more and say that they were gay. No, this is where people started coming out and saying that they had played the game or had some involvement with the game. And anywhere you look online, you can find tons of reports of people stating, oh, I remember seeing that in the arcade. I played it. It gave me a bad headache. Or, yeah, I actually have one of the ROMs.
Yeah.
Or, like, I've played it before. I've seen it. All this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's tons of it. And, like, even on video, like, there's videos, websites where people make games based on the reports of it. And people are like, yeah, I tried playing that modern remake of it, and I started having nightmares.
Oh, man. Come on.
Yeah.
By the way, when I came out in 2003, that had nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, I know, dude.
All right. Yeah.
Trust me.
We came out at the same time.
Yeah,
so
let's say it had a lot to do with Andrew.
Well, it did. We all came out at the same time because it was in your garage.
That fucking DP game, man. And Andrew's gray Transformer shirt, dude. It just fucking set me off.
We just came out as fans of My Chemical Romance.
Fuck yeah, dude. Which, I mean, just makes you come out, in general.
True. I did.
And for some strange reason, DDP was hanging out with us. And he was fine with the whole thing until we mentioned My Chemical Romance. Then he just couldn't do it anymore.
He got super pissed and fucking diamond cuttered
All of us.
He fucked us up.
But he did do me a favor, though, because I was never circumcised. And then he diamond cutted my dick, and now finally I can fit in with all my brothers. It's not even funny, so thank you to him for laughing.
Fuck yeah, dude, that was good.
So there's one thing that I always found like super interesting is that there's a few parts of the legend that everyone agrees on, like the name Polybius, the Black Cabinet, the Men in Black, the location of Portland, and then also the developing company's name that I can't pronounce, the German one.
Yeah.
So everyone who tells these stories, they all agree on all those parts. Like they don't change any of that stuff. Usually when people make up urban legends or like add to it, they switch it all and add all this shit. All that information usually always stays the same. So that's kind of, who knows?
It's crazy. I thought the first time that the Black Habit was ever mentioned is when Obama became president.
Oh shit!
I had to throw a tooth joke in there.
I was going to crack a really shitty Jennifer Tilly joke, so.
Oh my god, dude, wait, do it.
No, I just did. I wasn't trying to do it.
Oh, wait, how did Jennifer Tilly come up?
I don't know. This is going to be a shitty tooth joke. I'm sorry.
All right.
March 20th, 2006. So yeah, we're going ahead a couple more years. A man named Stephen Roach made a post on the CoinOp website telling his story about his involvement in the game. And this was his quote, what he said. "I think it's about time I laid this to rest," Roach writes. "However, entertaining the speculation, my name is Stephen Roach, who is primarily based in the Czech Republic. Sindelschlagen was a company set up by myself and several other mainly amateur programmers in 1978 that worked on component parts for printed circuit boards that saw programming as a limited but very profitable sideline." That's a fucking huge run-on sentence, Stephen Roach.
Oh, yeah.
And he also said that if you don't recognize the name, you just call him Papa. That's not funny at all.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's nothing. That deserves nothing.
No, I like it.
Cut my life into pieces. All right.
So
That was your last resort.
yeah, oh fuck yeah. So I am proud of Roach because he for one, he got out of that wall and he's able to talk without his tongue. Anybody?
Wait a minute.
Anybody?
Wait a minute. It's fuck. Is it Corky Romano?
No, it's fucking people underneath the stairs.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah.
Damn it! And actually, a little fun note here. This Stephen Roach, actually, they came up with the term. Never mind. It's just gonna be a weed joke.
Yes.
Never mind.
I like the Papa Roach though.
So he states that he and his programming studio were approached in 1980 by a quote South American company that will remain nameless for legal purposes, and the goal was to develop a new kind of arcade game featuring revolutionary graphics.
That was Mario 64.
Yeah.
No, it was like the way they would make paintings in the Revolutionary War time, like with the engravings. Like the way the dollar bills are stamped. Like they would carve these little grooves into a plate and they'd put ink on it. And then press it down onto the paper.
Yes.
And they could make the same picture over and over and over again.
Isn't that how games are made now? I think like the
Yeah, what your TV does is it makes about 30 of those per second.
Yeah.
And then flips them like a flip book in front of you.
Nice. Andrew's able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did the Flip-O-Rama from Captain Underpants a shit ton of times.
And flipping back and forth. So arcade games back then, they're either raster or vector graphics. Vector are the games that are just the lines, and then raster are the pixels, so it's kind of an easy way to remember it.
Yeah.
And many programmers argue that it was impossible, but they claimed to combine both vector and raster into one game that was highly fun and addictive Because if you look at the screenshot of the home game screen, the title screen of Polybius, it's a raster one. But everyone who comments on the gameplay says it was vector. So programmers say there's no way you could put both of them into one, but they claim that they did for this game.
It's insane how far gaming has gone.
I know, dude.
It's incredible.
But yeah, back then we couldn't afford the game, so we just played the Mel Hall game.
Oh fuck yeah, we did.
It's my favorite game to do on the weekends, baby.
Like usually when Andrew did it, I would just put my face between his legs.
We called that the tricycle effect.
Yeah, I would just wait to see if he could rub off my mustache.
See, I wouldn't do that because they wouldn't allow me to join in, so I had to put on these big styrofoam wings, and I would just fly down, just unbeknownst to you guys, and I would just smell through the air. Usually right around the floppy balls part.
You called it reverse crop dusting.
So Roach, he talks about the gameplay, and it does sound a lot like the reports, but it is a little different. He says the gameplay was said to be centered around a moon base with 6 sets of different aliens to defeat, and then the further you got, the faster it would go. And there were also some reports saying that the game had numbers involved, like you had to kill ships with certain numbers that correlated with the moon base. So it's kind of confusing sounded, but it was like the mix of like the puzzle game mixed with like the space shooter.
Yeah.
And Roach goes on to say that 6 days after the game was released in Portland, a 13-year-old kid had an epileptic seizure while playing, and I'm not sure if the kid was said to have died or not. And then the 7 cabinets were then quickly pulled. So according to him, that's what happened, is a kid had a seizure playing it, and they kind of got worried and scared about it. They didn't want like a lawsuit or anything. And then maybe that's why you don't hear anything about it. Like maybe they settled with the family and everything, and so no one could talk about it. Who knows?
I mean, I know he didn't die. The seizure, they haven't figured it out yet, but it was actually just Damian Lillard trying to get to the hoop. His ball handles, man. I had to crack a Portland joke.
I like it, dude. I liked it. And Roach's write-up is full of long, rambling sentences, typos, grammatical mistakes, and people reading it aren't really convinced that he's necessarily telling the truth either. And his interviews aren't even all that exciting. They're like mostly done by email or texting back and forth, like online. And he doesn't really say a whole lot that helps or hurts the legend. It's just kind of there, you know what I mean? It's something new to discuss and talk about, but there's nothing like crazy about what he says and nothing that really takes away from it.
What do you think, Andrew?
Oh, wait, you said 2006, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot. That's just like those other people that are trying to seem like to just bring it back up so they can get some type of like fame or
It could be, yeah. Absolutely.
money, or just act like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why like on Reddit and online you see all these people that claim to have played the game or
totally.
worked on it and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And one weird thing to note though, and it could be completely unrelated, but the whole legend of Polybius is based around like all these bad things happening to these kids that are playing the game. Well, in 1998, a man by the name of Stephen Roach and his wife Glenda were arrested in the Czech Republic, which is where this guy said he was from, because it was discovered that the school they operated at had illegally imprisoned its students, violated their rights, and even tortured them. So now it could be completely unrelated, most likely it is, but it does match the timeline from when Stephen Roach said he was in the Czech Republic. And then with the whole thing about Polybius, like fucking up these kids, and then him, then this Stephen Roach and his wife, like torturing and imprisoning students
So
at a school.
It's not confirmed that it's the same one.
No, there's really no idea, no
Yeah.
clue. But that really happened though. So
Which one is Papa though? Like, we have to know.
I don't know. Ask 11.
Oh, evil Steve Martin.
Holy shit! It really is, dude. Wow. So that's pretty much all I had on the actual legend of Polybius, but I did want to touch on a few real events that happened in Portland. Like, these are actually documented and real.
Okay.
In 1981, in the span of 1 week, which is right around the time the supposedly legend began, a kid playing Tempest got the first migraine that he ever had, and then he collapsed on the ground. Another boy, a 12-year-old named Brian, had fallen ill after trying to set the record for playing Asteroids for the longest time, just after 28 hours of gameplay.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say it sucks because like he was okay after that. Like he lived and stuff like that. He like grew up and like he actually had like he thought it was like a pretty good career as a pizza guy. And
Oh no! Oh no!
and then he got killed by a bomb.
Yeah.
So
Oh god.
sorry, Brian.
And then about a year later, in October 1982, 18-year-old Peter Burkowski in Illinois went to the arcade to play the game Berserk. Within 15 minutes, he made the top 10 list twice, and right before his final game was finished, he had a heart attack and died.
Holy shit, he was 18.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I think like during the 80s, these real events, like the first few were in Portland,
Yeah.
so that could have maybe been where the legend of all this stemmed from. And then during this time, many arcades, they kind of had like an eye kept on them. And soon, a few of them were raided because they found they were being used for gambling, things like that. So they kind of got a bad rep, and that could have like all added to the urban legend of it. Of like, oh, did you hear this kid died? This kid had a seizure.
Oh, yeah.
And you know how things get out of hand and rumors spread and like things start getting added to it. So it's not like completely... Like, I don't think it's completely impossible for this to have happened.
Still kind of creepy with like the other stuff though. Like especially the 18-year-old having a heart attack.
Yeah.
What gives an 18-year-old a heart attack? I mean, I know sports sometimes that happens, but just playing an arcade game.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was watching some crazy porn, I mean, and his name was Andrew Carnell. I mean, you know,
or maybe watching Wild and Crazy Kids, because I know that gets my heart going.
It does, yeah.
Gets Andrew's heart going, but for different reasons.
If Double Dare's on, you know. Or if any of us are watching Wild Things.
Wild Things. Fuck yeah, dude.
Fucking three-way comes out of nowhere.
I still come back to that to Jack every holiday.
Dude, as a kid, though, when you're watching that,
It's
and
awesome.
You're sitting there watching, you're like, yeah, this is like kind of a normal movie. It's kind of cool. Then out of nowhere, a fucking three-way.
And right when he's about to have that three-way, he's like, let's do it for Johnny,
Let's do it for Johnny.
Do it for Johnny.
He does. Good old Matt Dillon, man.
So many believe that Polybius was based on the game Tempest and could have even possibly been a beta or prototype version of Tempest, because the developers did say that the first version of Tempest they made was causing motion sickness after a period of time, so they decided to like change the game and fix it and all that.
Yeah.
So it could have possibly been like some of the stories are true, but it was just a prototype of Tempest out there, although they deny that of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of people believe that the actual myth of Polybius didn't exist until 2000 when it all became popular online. And there isn't really any real information on it before then, and there's none about it in the 80s. It's like there was no information. You can't trace it until 2000. That's the farthest back you can trace it.
It happened like kind of recently, like with another game. It didn't get like as like popular. I mean, you could actually buy it at Five Below for $5. But if you play it, you do get really sick because of just the potential of the game, and that's called Battleborn.
Holy shit. Brink.
Yeah, and you can buy that at fucking
dude, it's at Five Below
for $5, dude, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
That sucks.
I bought that the fucking night it came out.
And by the way, I just wanted to comment on all of your arcade stories from earlier. They all are very deserving of #Wildman. So congrats, guys.
Thank you. I worked really hard on mine.
Now, back to the story. Undoubtedly, the 1984 movie The Last Starfighter could have possibly played a large hand in aiding to the legend of Polybius and the popularity. Do you remember the game Battlezone by Atari?
No.
Well, the Army actually had approached Atari in 1980 to help develop a version of that game to be used to train gunners for the Bradley fighting vehicle. It's like a tank. It's like that game in the arcade where you pull like the helmet thing down and you can like see and you can
nice.
turn and shit.
Almost like you're in like a fucking submarine.
Yeah, that was actually used to train people in the Army.
Really?
Like to use this tank. Like
Wait, did you said The Last Starfighter? I thought you said Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, what would that be used to train people for? Watch this movie.
To never watch that movie ever again.
That's true.
It could train you to not watch M. Night Shyamalan, but he has done slightly better since. Not by much.
The Happening is great.
Andrew, get out of here.
So what was Polybius? Was it a game gone wrong? A government experiment to mind control people? A military experiment to help recruit? A CIA brainwashing / subliminal message tool? A faulty Tempest cabinet or perhaps a prototype of it? Or is it something else entirely? Or the most popular theory, was it just a hoax? So before we actually talk about our theories and go into that, was there anything else about Polybius you wanted to discuss, or did you have any questions or anything about it?
It was really confusing when they made the movie of it. That like weird sequel to the Alien movies.
Oh, shit, what is the name of it?
Prometheus?
Prometheus.
Okay, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that.
And they actually made that movie based on your life, Andrew. What was it called? Willow?
Made by George Lucas.
Wait, George Lucas fucking made that? Yeah. Oh my God, yes. I did not know George Lucas made that.
So the reason we all flipped out right now is Andrew looks exactly like a young, sexy George Lucas.
If you add in
add in like a
Dave-
9.5-inch balls.
or a Mark David Chapman. Kind of throw that in there.
I've never even seen Willow. I don't know what that is.
You are a handsome bitch.
Willow's a good movie. That's the one with like the little man, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't want to say the word. But
And
little
Val
man.
Kilmer.
What? Val Kilmer's in that?
Yeah, dude.
He's
Oh my
basically
God.
like the Aragorn character.
Dude, I gotta watch it again because I
good.
haven't seen that since like when I was a kid.
Mad Mardigan.
I gotta watch it again then.
Fuck, I love Willow, man.
Andrew, good job,
Nice
man.
job,
Andrew, you're making some good fucking movies.
I know. I've been doing.
Her
some-
name is Alora Dan, and the last thing she's gonna want is a hairy chest.
Andrew, just don't make any prequels.
I want more Willow
Sorry,
quotes.
It's already been done.
Yeah. Oh, it has. It has.
Can we get one more Willow quote?
Pigs, you're all pigs.
All right, so as far as theories go then, do you think it's real or do you think it's a hoax? And if it is real or a hoax, like what are your takes on it?
I think it's definitely a hoax, especially when you mentioned that nothing was really talked about until the 2000s.
Yeah.
It probably spread pretty quickly online. Like somebody said it, other people started to agree, got further, and then it became, what it is. But I think it just started as just somebody making something up.
Yeah.
Like just like spread like an STD.
Yep,
I have a
Andrew.
couple of those.
Yeah.
I think almost every piece of the story has some true part, like true version to it. But I think the Polybius story itself is just this kind of mishmash of all those other different stories, and it's not really it. The Polybius story itself is not true,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit above like a creepypasta because all the pieces are true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's something there. I just don't think it.
Yeah, so I definitely
It's
from
just
a-
not Polybius.
Yeah.
Andrew actually had the real cabinet in his garage, and we were out there trying to play it. And I remember he got so spooked, he was like, "Polybius alone."
It was just that closet thing from Matilda.
Oh, the chokey?
yes, dude, the chokey.
Oh yeah, we were
Yeah, all those fucking spikes.
He was-
Yeah, that's definitely what it was.
he was
It
doing
was.
the chokey in the chokey.
Oh yeah, he was.
All right, Andrew, what's your take on it, brother?
I think it was real. I just live my life by Polybius standards now, so it was fucking real.
Polybius standards. What does that mean?
So I don't think, like, obviously I think it's not 100% real, but I do think that as far as it could have been like a prototype or they were testing a game, maybe kids were getting like headaches or nauseated from it, or like they said with the Tempest prototype, could have been something like that. So I think that part could have been true, but I think the whole Polybius thing is, as a whole, like Spence said, I don't think it was anything more to it, but
I
I think
agree.
there's a lot of truthful elements to it.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some questions out there that make sense, but it does seem like somebody started something and just got like really far, spread.
Well, it's
online.
guaranteed that there were 7. You can guarantee that. There's proof.
Can
that
we,
there was-
Kevin Spacey?
Oh,
What's in the box?
what's in the black cabinet?
Oh yes, get out of there, Gwyneth.
So some say, like, one of the most popular theories is that the guy running the CoinOp website, he made it up in 2000 because that was when the first actual reporting of it anywhere online was. And then he later told GamePro about it. GamePro, they kind of got fooled by it. They ran a story on it, and it exposed the myth to, like, millions of readers. And in return, all those people were going to the CoinOp website. So they think he did it just to generate, like, views and people, like, traffic, which worked.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think it was just that guy making it up.
So
So
it's-
GamePro kind of fell for the hoax and kind of made it a billion times bigger than it should have been.
It's like the jazz letter from the
Yeah.
from the Axeman.
Yeah. So alrighty, that is Polybius.
Thank you. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
You're-
Anything before Spence does our closing
You're
stuff?
beautiful, Andrew.
I did wear makeup today again.
Oh, yeah.
I could tell. It's nice. Some foundation there. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of the Brothers Commonplace. Please, please, please share our podcast with anyone and everyone you can. The link to send them is brotherscommon.place, or else share us and retweet us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us, the Brothers Commonplace. And if you'd like to leave us any feedback, please do so. You can leave us feedback on Facebook and Twitter, and also at our email, which is brotherscommonplace@gmail.com. So please spread the word, leave us reviews and ratings, because those help bring us to the top of the lists on the podcast places.
Absolutely.
And that helps more people see us, which makes us happy. And if we're happy, you'll be happy.
Ooh.
#Wildman.
Oh, yeah. #Wildman.
So special thanks to everyone out there that's keeping us included on Twitter, everyone that's given us a review or a rating. And if you leave us one in your podcast, let us know which podcast you're from. We'd be happy to subscribe and check you out and give you a 5-star review in return.
Totally.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Tim, what do you got to say, brother?
I agree definitely about the podcast, because I get bored at work, man. I like to listen to podcasts. So anybody that just throws their name out there, I want to listen to it. You know, we'll do the promo swap and maybe swap some nudes. You know, like we're always down for that. Andrew just shaved his balls the other day, man. Like let us show you this.
I'll be honest, it is getting a little tiring that all of our nude swaps have just been us four.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah,
it's just.
We've seen it in person. We don't want the
Yeah,
fucking
I know
pictures.
what the dong looks like.
We're naked right
guys.
now, recording.
And the messed up thing is we're not even sending nudes of each other. We send our nudes to ourselves.
And then Andrew keeps sending me a video like how dealers do in Las Vegas, where like they slide the chips out. He does that with his dong.
And for some reason, I don't know which one of you keeps doing this, but stop sending me lemon party.
Alrighty, Andrew, words of wisdom, brother. #Wildman.
#fucking wild, man. But, all right, usually, you know what? Just go to those fucking dirty, naughty, raunchy motherfucking websites.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you're going to find us there.
Nice.
We're always there. We've been there. That's the hotbed for our activity.
Oh, yes.
Just go there. We're still that little... Your video will play in 5 seconds. We're that video that plays before the 5 seconds.
Yeah.
We're always there.
Yeah, they...
Yeah, so do us a favor and take your pop-up blocker off, please. We're not getting any views or downloads, you greedy sons of bitches. Take it off.
Yeah, they stopped the Girls Gone Wild, so we like kind of stole that, and his brother Commonplace Gone Wild, and #Wildman.
#Wildman, baby.
#Wildman.
All right, so everyone, thanks for listening. Be good, stay safe.
Laugh at the dark stuff.
#Wildman.
#Wildman.
Hey guys, I'm Heather.
And I'm Rochelle.
And we're from Nature vs. Narcissism,
a true crime podcast mixed with some dark humor.
Sometimes we have alcohol.
Sometimes we have guests.
Since I've always been fascinated by true crime, I wanted to delve deeper into the criminal mind and discuss why these criminals commit these vile acts.
Was it nature? Was it nurture? Or was it just plain old narcissism?
Join us every week for a brand new episode.
You can find us on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and Podbean.
Don't call the cops. Bye.
Love you.
Oh, Andrew, you nasty boy.
Waft it over here.
Blow that stink over here, baby. Here, let me take the lid off my cup. I want you to wave it in there. I want to drink your fucking stink. I want to drink that stink. #Wildman.
#Wildman.
Oh, yeah.
This February, history will be made. Millions will watch as 80 years of unjust stigma is left in the past. A product that drove good people to the black market will be revealed as one that's creating a new global market. This February, what inspired the symbol of counterculture will at long last be seen as just culture. The new normal is coming. Will you be one of the first to see it? Visit medmen.com to watch an exclusive preview.
You teared up because the barista screwed up your order. You finished a pint of fudge ripple ice cream in front of the freezer. You yelled at your desk neighbor, Leslie, for breathing too loud. This time, don't go and buy another box of tampons. Question what you thought you knew about periods. Question what you buy, what you use, what the usual way, right way is to deal with it. Revolutionize. Switch it up. Try the Diva Cup and see how it can make dealing with your period a whole lot better.